Welcome back to Twin Tarot. I'm David.
And I'm Gary.
And today we're doing the smooth jazz voice. So I woke up this morning and lounging around in bed with Michelle. That's all we were doing, we were lounging. And I looked at my phone. It's like, I got a haircut and I need to leave in 5 minutes. So got out. It was actually 10 minutes. But
okay.
Yeah. Got out the door and made it to my haircut, which is 3 blocks away from where Gary lives.
Yes.
So I came over, but I'm without cards. So we're going to do the show I've always wanted to do where Gary throws cards and I tell him what his reading means.
Well, I've got a spare deck. It's the deck that Dave gave me. It's a beginner deck that's got the little the definitions on it. And Dave goes, "No, just use your normal deck and I'll just read the cards like we normally do."
Yeah, exactly.
You throw the cards and I'll tell you what
I'll tell you what your cards mean and why you're wrong in your interpretation.
Okay, so you had a video.
By the way, this upsets my mother to no end, so she creates endless burner accounts to criticize, saying, "You're so mean to your brother."
Okay,
and then she sends other burner accounts to tell Gary, "You're so mean to your brother. You're not good. Your brother's awesome."
Okay, just for clarification, our mom does not have burner accounts.
Yes, she does. She has tons of them.
She's not trolling us.
Our mom trolls endlessly. She's the biggest 90-year-old troll out there.
Oh my goodness. We are slandering her like you cannot believe it.
She turns 90 next month, by the way. It's close enough.
And she doesn't watch these videos, so she has no idea.
No, exactly.
But so if you ever hear us
she does. Why do you think she trolls you?
Exactly.
Anyways.
So if you ever hear us saying how our mom is trolling us, we're kind of joking. Just a teeny bit. That much. She would if she actually watched it, I suspect.
Troll us, yes.
Anyway, so you had a video that didn't come out.
Yeah, I went to bed a little after midnight last night. No sound. We had I had moved my computer downstairs and I hooked it back upstairs, and when I plugged the mic in, it goes to auto mute. And either I pushed the button and it didn't undo, which I don't remember doing, or I forgot to push the button, which is what I remember not doing. Mm-hmm. So yeah, a 25-minute reading.
Yeah, of him going.
Exactly. Blah 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 blah.
Not even blah. Just
that reading was on the energy currently in the Iran-Israeli situation, and I did it from the perspective of Iran, the U.S., Israel, and Russia. And the thing I came away with on that one is, each leader is facing a set of issues, but they're really similar for all 4 countries. And I came away from it, you think about it, all 4 are in conflict or are contemplating jumping into a conflict. They are not popular governments with their populace. Mm-hmm. Their leadership is in jeopardy. And I think they're all 4 on the same downward trajectory that next year, none of those 4 will likely be in power. Not to wish cast or anything, especially with the U.S. situation. Yeah. But every one of them is in a very fraught / perilous position, leading their countries right now.
Perhaps they should face the peril.
It's too perilous.
Can I go back and face the peril?
Bet you had to go find the holy grail. Let's go.
Okay, so why don't we start? We're going to do that as the reading. So now we're going to redo the reading only with volume.
Yes.
Why don't you kick it off there?
Okay, let's start off with, as I did last night, let's start off with Iran. I want to know what the grand leader, is it Ali Khamenei, I believe is his name. As a background, quick background for that, and here we go, we'll throw a justice card out there as it goes slipping out. Just a few years ago, they were the morality police. Can't you just see this happening in the U.S.?
Yeah, it's
the morality police were out there enforcing women to be covered up, and they were arresting women. And one young woman who was in her 20s died in police custody, and all these people were out protesting, and the government was cracking down, and the protests were huge. And I forget what finally killed off those protests, but really unpopular government. Israel has now launched missile attacks on them to preemptively destroy nuclear weapons. they're saying, Trump administration on one hand is saying they're days away from being able to make, yet Trump's going to take 2 weeks to make his decision as to what to do. Make up your mind. Which is it? Because you're contradicting yourself. So the leader of Iran is in a very precarious position. If he goes to war with Israel, well, he'll probably satisfy the hardliners in the country, but I suspect most of the population doesn't want it. But when Israel attacks, people typically will circle around their government and become nationalistic. So, on the one hand, if he attacks, the hardliners will like it, and maybe the general population might like it. If he goes for peace, the general population would like it more, although they still don't like him, and the hardliners won't like him. He's really in a no-win situation. If he does nothing, he looks weak, and that weakness gets dictators overthrown. And if he does something too strong, he takes the country into war, and there can be more devastation. He's already unpopular, and that could lead to even more unpopularity, which could get him removed from office. Foundation of the reading. We will have two. We have the justice card. It's kind of the just desserts and the burden of leadership because he's made his own bed, crossed with the population wanting happiness.
Yes.
People in his country are not happy. And this is kind of the just desserts. It's kind of like, what you put out there is what you get back. And that's what he's got going on. And underneath is the 3 of coins. There's some wheeling and dealing going on, maybe a conspiracy about this. But underneath, there's some wheeling and dealing stuff that's happening behind the scenes that people aren't seeing. In the past, we got the Knight of Swords, things happening and changing quickly, sometimes recklessly charging forward. I do think that this could be, if Iran was purifying uranium, they brought this on themselves. Alternatively, this was in the past when the people were rising up against the treatment that they've got that's unjust and unfair. Current situation, I believe this was one of my outcome cards last night, 9 of Wands. The government is under assault from all ends, and I think the walls are closing in. They just don't know which way they're coming in there. The government's now making plans, which is probably this 3 of coins. They're trying desperately to get back in peace talks, because peace talks and non-nuclear proliferation is kind of the key to the government sort of walking that fine line of showing strength versus weakness and trying to balance what the populations want. Lesson to be learned is the King of Coins, and this one did come up a number of times. It's like the power brokers of the area. I don't think the Iranian economy is doing particularly well. There are sanctions against them. Israel hit Iran's natural gas lines, which Israel sells to Iraq. So they're not going to make as much money selling natural gas to Iraq. Russia's been trying to sell natural gas to Iraq, and Israel has given Russia a gift that Russia can now potentially get into the Iraqi market and make more money. So it makes you wonder, did Israel only do it because they'd rather punish Iran more than reward Russia? Or is there some other deal going on here? But long and short, money is driving this. Outcome is the magician, the manifestation, or the illusion. What are we manifesting? Oh, geez. We got the double card underneath it. So I think Iran may not be as close to building a dirty bomb as Trump would let you believe, because all of our national intelligence says that they don't have it.
Yeah.
The national intelligence could be wrong, or they may not be as close, but that doesn't mean that's not their intent. It's like they're trying to hide their corrupt intent. When I had done a reading on this initially, I want the highest energy for people. I do not want war, and I do not want unwarranted attacks. When I did the reading on it, the cards seemed to come out suggesting that the attacks were a good thing, which I'm just going to have to throw up my hands and say, okay, you know, there's must be stuff going on that I'm not seeing, that this was a good thing. This might have averted problems later on down the road, but it's causing some problems now. So I don't advocate for missile attacks and attacking stuff. At least Israel appears to be attacking military facilities or facilities with the nuclear capacities. But that being said, I just wish people would use their big boy words and just work things out. Wouldn't that be so much nicer?
Well, that's kind of what Obama did. He had a whole agreement in place with Iran, and
Trump got rid of it because Obama's name was on it.
Yeah. Okay, so that was Iran.
Yes.
How about
Take your choice, Israel or U.S.?
Let's look at the Israelis. Okay, so what's the energy around the Israelis and their attacks on Iran, and is it justified?
Now remember, Netanyahu was trying to stack the Supreme Court. Their Supreme Court has a "don't be ridiculous" rule that if you pass a law that's ridiculous, they can just say nope, you don't get that.
Yeah.
And Netanyahu was trying to either stack the court or disband the Supreme Court, which they said nope. And people protested. No, hundreds of thousands, not millions of people protested in Israel. And then we start the war in Gaza.
Yeah.
And now we're attacking Iran. Sounds like wag the dog.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so let's look at the energy around Netanyahu, and
not to mention the international courts are after his butt for crimes against humanity.
Oops, deck's upside down. Okay. Foundation of the reading is the Nine of Pentacles. Hey, you know what? I'm just looking out for the welfare of our people.
I'm just a pretty little girl.
We just want to enjoy the finer things in life.
Or are they taking the finer things for granted?
Let's see. The challenge, the cross, is the Eight of Cups. So once again, it's like he wants to be the belle of the ball, and he's made decisions that are unpopular. And right now, the population, they just in Gaza, they're tired of this. They just want this to be over with.
I think the Israeli people want this to be over.
Yeah, the Israeli. Oh, yeah, exactly. The Israeli people want this over with, and now we're expanding this into Iran. This is probably, like Dave was saying, there's going to be a certain part of the population that supports this, and then there's going to be the rest that do not like this at all. Energy underneath it, the Devil card. You know, he's chained himself to this, that Iran is definitely enriching uranium and that they are making a bomb, and it's that they needed to take action. Now, Trump's national intelligence was basically came to the conclusion that no, they're not making one. And Trump said, I don't care what Tulsi Gabbard has to say. They're making one, and we're going to make sure their nuclear program is completely disabled and disintegrated. So it's like Netanyahu and Trump are in lockstep with each other. They're both on that energy level.
Yeah, they're both corrupt intent.
Yes. There's definitely dark energy. In the past, you got the Three of Cups. You know, his missile attacks on Iran have been very successful. They've been taking out what they need to take out. The retaliatory attacks have not been as effective.
Right.
So right now, in the past, they're celebrating.
Hugely successful operation by Israel that was, a year or 2 years in the making to put themselves in a position to do exactly what they did.
The current energy is justice. They feel that this is what needs to be done.
How interesting that justice card also came out for Iran, too.
Yes.
It really does make me think Iran did not... they had corrupt intentions.
Yeah.
Just like... turn your bottom card over. Yeah. Just like Israel has corrupt intentions.
Yes.
A whole lot of corruption going on here.
Overarching energy is the Queen of Wands. Just lots of actions that are being taken. There's a lot of moving parts on this.
I think this is that's your preemptive action right there. We're not letting you get to the point where you can do this.
The lesson to be learned is the Nine of Swords. It's just, but all of these actions are causing a lot of stress around the world. I mean, MAGA voted for Trump because he was going to prevent World War III. And
that's right. Kamala was going to cause World War. That's what the Democrats want. Remember?
Yes.
How soon we forget all our evil plans?
Yes. And here we are. Trump's about ready to jump into this because Iran has had such an effective opening salvo onto Iran. The Israelis have had such a effective opening salvo on Iran. Trump wants to get in on that. You know, Trump wants the Peace Prize. And I don't know if you saw this, but Pakistan is going to nominate him for the Nobel Peace Prize.
Hooray.
So clearly Pakistan's got something in mind.
Yeah.
There's something that they're hoping to get from Trump out of this because they're going to try and give him what he wants. But so this is causing a lot of anxiety. Israelis' actions are causing a lot of anxiety around the world. The outcome is the Four of Wands. People celebrating the actions of what's going on. So right now, it may be for right now the right call.
Yeah.
I'm like Dave. I'm not happy about it, you know, but I don't have access to the information that Israelis and the U.S. intelligence agencies have, and they seem to be in conflict with each other. I mean, Israel's been saying that Iran's been 2 weeks away from having a nuclear bomb since 2009. It's been a long time.
Now we've come to the United States here with Trump, and I'll let you do the Trump one. I'm going to do the Putin one. Okay. So as I mentioned, Putin's been trying to get natural gas sales into Iraq. He sells currently to Turkey, and wants to get into Iraq and I forget the other Middle East country. You could do that. You generate income. It helps pay for your war efforts in your war against Ukraine. When I threw this last night, it seems like he doesn't get in to Iraq. There was a betrayal. Something happens where he gets betrayed. So I'm looking to see if the Three of Swords comes up. But this is an opening for Putin. And it makes me wonder if Putin cut a deal with the U.S. because, Agent Krasnov there in the White House. And Netanyahu is, he's a friend to himself, and he's got people that he will use for power. They seem to have like a little deal going on there, and it makes you wonder what the deal is. Now maybe it's building another waterway passage from the Black Sea outward, like the Suez Canal, which would make Gaza a new Riviera, a cosmopolitan Riviera, perfect for all those hotels and things, and it would connect with Russia. So, there's a lot of money to be made here. So what do we got? What's Russia's motivation with all this? Two of coins. We have a decline in values or wealth. I think they're running out of money, basically. Yeah, the government's running out of money. The government's, they're taxing their banking system, and they're taxing their military, and things are on a downward spiral. And I think underneath it, the Fool card, they've got to do something to fix this problem. Otherwise, they're going to walk off a cliff. In the past, you've got the Judgment card. I think this is just the consequences of Russia invading a sovereign nation, their next door neighbor. It's like the U.S. invading Canada. And there's been repercussions for it. And they've, from 2014, with their original incursion into Ukraine, through now, they're paying the economic price for it. They need to come up with a new form of revenue, and I think they came up with a money plan that they're selling. And there's your Four of Wands, kind of like Gary had his outcome. I think they're trying to open up a new monetary avenue with Israel and the United States. Lesson to be learned is the Page of Cups. It's not. I'm gonna use the low energy. There's something rotten in Denmark type smell. This smells bad. This is not a. You got a couple of pages here. This is not a great deal. And I think the problem with, I think where this one's going is when you try and get into a deal with sharks, there's blood in the water, the sharks are circling, and Russia's not exactly coming from a place of strength. So again, and I'm basing this off of my reading last night where Russia looks like it gets betrayed. I think they're making their offer. I don't know if their offer is going to be honored. And then you've got the Israel bombing Iran's drone facility, preventing Iran from making drones. Ukraine hit Russia's drones facilities, preventing Russia from making drones. So Russia's main form of attacking Ukraine, which are drones, is going to be greatly reduced by this. We have things changing quickly, though. Messaging. So what's Russia? These are either more missiles or things changing quickly. That's what's changing quickly. The end. Oh, you know what? They have, okay, so they need to make a move quick because Putin's time is coming to an end. I think the oligarchs are evaluating the money and get ready for Swan Lake. Putin's run out of time. Putin flat out has run out of time, and he's got to make a deal that even he doesn't want to make. But it's like, it's his last, literally it's his last play to stay in power. Because if he can get the economy to land on its feet, he buys himself time.
Yeah, it's interesting because if the economy crumbles in Russia, and now Putin needs to seriously go to the bargaining table with Ukraine, and Trump's going to broker that deal, and then Pakistan's nominating Trump for a Nobel Peace Prize, and Trump may negotiate some deal with Iran. He may get that peace prize. It's just,
you could, yeah, I know it. It's interesting because if the sanctions get lifted and Iran cannot sell its natural gas, because Europe has gotten themselves off of Russia's natural gas. So if the sanctions are lifted and Russia can now sell natural gas to Turkey and to Iraq and Europe, money's going to go flowing into the Russian economy, and that's going to basically save Russia. I might have the name of the Russian company because I think I took a screenshot of it. Let me check real quick here.
This is gripping video.
Yeah, I know. No.
Hey, while he's doing that, let's give a quick shout out to one of our.
I don't have it on there.
Oh, my goodness!
But the Russian energy sector is basically the Russian economy. It's a big fund. So this could give Putin the avenue. It's like, okay, we can negotiate peace. Money comes in from the natural gas sales, saving his butt, and then he has to rebuild his military. But at the same time, if he thinks he's winning the war in Ukraine, he may not do that. So international politics, this whole thing is very complicated.
Okay, so let's see the energy around good old Trumpy. Trump his big motivation is the Nobel Peace Prize. And it's in his grasp, frankly. Now,
I disagree, but okay, go on. Let's follow the thought.
In his mind, it's within his grasp. Because he can negotiate a peace deal between Russia and Ukraine. He can broker some sort of deal with Iran. He'll probably try and take credit for creating a peace deal between Pakistan and India. So he's the world's diplomat. Okay. Oh dear. Well, the foundation of Trump's reading is the Tower. Yeah, he may be the world's diplomat, but things are coming down. This could be taken two ways. This is Trump's ability to just tear down institutions. So maybe the Nobel Peace Prize institution also gets to be victimized by Trump. Or it could just simply be his world is going to come collapsing in on him.
Yeah.
Dave likes that reading better.
Best laid plans of mice and men.
The challenge is the emperor. It's the challenge is he can't stop himself.
I was about to say he can't get out of his own way.
Yeah, it's just he's his own worst enemy. You know, the reading I'm doing that came out today on Saturday was how he wants to put a special prosecutor to investigate the 2020 election results. Exactly. And it's just like, let it go.
No.
Already.
No, investigate it.
Well, yeah, exactly. It's like, hey, especially you should look at 2024 too, because Biden was in power. He clearly tried to corrupt the 2024 election.
I think the 2020 election was supposed to be corrupted and Trump was supposed to be put in power and it didn't pan out. He's still salty about that.
Yeah. So it's just he's his own worst enemy. He keeps getting in his own way. The energy underneath it is the Trump card, the King of Pentacles. It's just on the positive side, it's like a deal maker, right? So it's someone who's like, hey, I've got all the wealth, all the deal making. On the negative side, it's just someone who's just arrogant and reckless and doesn't give a crap about anyone else but himself. In the past, you got the Four of Cups, not happy with the options that you're seeing in front of you. But there's an offer on entry. You just got to pay attention to it. It's probably these are his grievances, and what's being offered is just forget about that. Focus on what's coming on ahead, because he holds on to grudges. He's still pissed off at the Muppets.
Yeah.
For what was the Donald Trump?
He was. Let's see, I'll keep going. I'll come up with the name.
Current energy is the Two of Pentacles, where he's trying to balance his keeping MAGA.
Donald Grump.
Donald Grump.
Yes.
Trying to balance everything. Well, you got that for the Russia reading too, yeah. Right? So he's trying to balance his relationship with Putin with trying to get his other agenda items done. Overarching energy, okay, you got the Ten of Cups, getting a lot of the same cards Dave was getting for his various readings. He is trying to keep MAGA happy because he wants everyone to be happy and thrilled with his legacy and all the wonderful things he's doing for the United States. Lesson to be learned, though, is the Queen of Pentacles, which is take care of your people. Mm-hmm. Be caring, be nurturing, be kind. Do those sound like things that Trump is?
Nope.
No, but that's the lesson. Outcome is the Ten of Wands. It's a lot of burdens, a lot of actions, trying to take that to its conclusion. He's got a lot of irons in the fire, and a lot of things are weighing him down and slowing him down. And the question is, will he be able to get it to the finish line? Let's get a clarifier on that. Mm-hmm. Well, he's got the MAGA crazy that he's trying to keep going. Oh dear.
Card's looking familiar.
Swan Lake moment. But he's going to try and manifest his results. Yeah, it's hard to say. That's not helping me on his burden. But, that's the one thing with Trump. Don't ever underestimate the man. It's just dangerous to underestimate him.
Got nothing else for you.
Nah, that's all I got.
I do think the trajectory, though, underestimating him or not, the trajectory for all four leaders is miserable. Downward and miserable and spiraling.
Yeah. They're just taking us with them.
Yeah.
They're just sharing their misery with us. How nice of them.
And it's either, all four go to war to try and stay in power to delay their hitting the ground, or try and come up with peace to delay hitting them in the ground. But either way, they're going to be hitting the ground. And I really do think they're going to be hitting the ground a lot sooner rather than later. Okay, anyways, thank you very much for watching this video and supporting our channel. We appreciate it.
Yeah, if you like these videos, give it a thumbs up, subscribe, and hit the bell. We'll wake you up at midnight with a new video like this one. And leave a comment. I read them all, respond to many.
And unlike those bargain basement Twin Tarot channels that, you know, they just end their readings right there without any acknowledgement to the fun audience that participates in there.
Yeah, we go on and on and on and on.
Yes. We drag this thing out.
Yes. Hey, so let's give a couple shout outs. How about to Lynna Harlan?
Lynna Harlan.
Lynna Harlan.
Let's see.
272.
I got a King of Cups for Lynna Harlan.
Oh, yes. The emotionally mature one, unlike David and I. And then we've got Joyce Adams.
Also the King of Cups. No, the Ace of Cups.
Ace of Cups. Ah, yes.
How many of those do you have in the deck?
And then Diggity Poodle Sherrydale. Great name.
Great name. You win. You win the internet today. Thank you again for everyone. We'll catch you on the next video. Take care.
And for the rest of us, we got the Three of Wands. Our ship is coming in.
Amen.
Just be patient.
Bye.
Bye.